2 games into the 2024 NFL season, there are 0 quarterbacks with more passing touchdowns than Derek Carr, a higher yards per passing attempt in the NFL than Derek Carr. There's no one that comes close in terms of quarterback rating, passer rating, and Derek Carr has been sacked less than almost any quarterback in the NFL. And of course, the guy to saddle all of this success with, and in fact, I would think the 5 guys that you need to saddle most of this success with, at least some of the reason that this success has been had by Derek Carr, are the 5 guys up front, led by Erik McCoy and Cesar Ruiz, this offensive line for New Orleans. In fact, running the ball so far for the New Orleans Saints, they have more touchdowns than anybody, they have more attempts almost than anybody, and they're 3rd in the league in rushing yards. They're only 11th in terms of yards per attempt, but they're still averaging almost 5 yards an attempt on the ground. And again, this is, on this part, I will give a lot of credit to Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, 2 running backs who last year did not have, I think, years to the caliber of what they're used to. And so far this year, they have had incredible starts to this year. In 2 games, Jamal Williams already has as many touchdowns as he had the entire year last year, and Alvin Kamara is coming off a game where he had 4 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of what the New Orleans Saints have been able to do is get their offensive line moving in front of both of these running backs, and whether it's in the screen game, whether it's in the running game, the quick pass game in general, this offensive line has been not only the key. Go watch, if you're a real, offensive line nut, go watch both of the games for the New Orleans Saints. You will absolutely be jaw-dropping at the film that Erik McCoy and Cesar Ruiz are putting up. And their tackles aren't doing too bad either. Trevor Penning and Talais Fuaga are playing pretty well for New Orleans this year. And look, while I don't want to place any, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I think Derek Carr is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. But what the Saints have been able to have Derek Carr do this year is perfect for him. Think about it this way. Derek Carr, at least amongst all starting quarterbacks, has thrown less passes than anybody. In fact, the New Orleans Saints as a total are last in the NFL in terms of passing attempts. They're still 1st in passing touchdowns, 1st in net yards per attempt, and they're 11th in total passing yards. That's an incredible recipe for success for this New Orleans Saints team, who also has a pretty good defense behind them as well. I still don't get how Derek Carr threw an interception in their last game against the Cowboys. It totally seemed like typical Derek Carr to, I guess it was just an overlead on his receiver on the play. A play that could have been caught, but again, it just was like pinnacle Derek Carr to be up the way they were and for him to still be throwing an interception. That's the plays like that where I look at it and I'm just like, I don't think Derek Carr is very good. I still can't deny what they've done so far. I think Clint Kubiak has a lot to do with this. I think the fact that this year this team is fully healthy, at least with their key offensive contributors that they need to have healthy, they've been there. And this offensive line, they could be the best offensive line already in football, and this is 2 games into this season. With what they've done on the ground, and again, Derek Carr has only been sacked twice. That's a pretty good resume to be considered one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in the game. And I've already highlighted both of them, but, so far, if you have to, I think if you had to name all pros or Pro Bowlers right now, Erik McCoy and Cesar Ruiz would be at the top of the list for the center and right guard position. And they've earned every single bit of that standing.